Well, hello and welcome to my stream. Glad to have you here. Basically, I'm just going to sit back and do some coding and maybe showing some of the edit screens of my game that I'm working on. Currently, I want to. I've been refactoring, I should say. I've been refactoring some of the monsters or the enemies in the game and their generation, and I kind of normalized it, just kind of changed the code around a little bit so that I can make better use of it, essentially. So anyway, I'm moving forward with that. Trying to bring back some of the older abilities of my mobiles or mobs and expand on making up some new abilities. And we'll just kind of see where that goes from here. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in, and hopefully we'll have a good time. As much as watching someone code is. I appreciate it though. Well, here we go. All right. So, excuse me. Chunk on the mute button. All right. Just basically going to make some 10 by 10 rooms. Each level of the dungeon can have up to 30 by 30 rooms. Each room will have walls, doors, fake doors, and such. Currently, we're just going to be able to put in walls and doors. And a wall will prevent a player from moving through it, and a door essentially allows a player to go through it. At some point, though, they would have to, when they do go through a door, it will increase the rate of monsters spawning or attacking, because you make noise. You can't open the door. Later on, some of these doors will be locked, require certain items within your inventory. And with that, it will allow you to go ahead and pass through if you have the requirements. This is just CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, basically. No real front end. I mean, there's Bootstrap on some of that stuff. Really simple. HTMX is being used to do server-side updates back and forth. Lightweight, respawn in place state management, kind of like React. Except everything's going to be mostly done on server side. The game itself does not run in the browser, though. It's rendered in the browser, but there's no game logic. It doesn't run independent currently. All right. Let's put a hallway in a corner piece. There we go. Now, so let's kind of move that around. Let's expand that. And I'm going to put in one side of the wall. And on the other side of the wall. Let's bring that back in. And let's finish off with that. And let's make a flange. Oops. Well, let's go ahead and work with that. There we go. Let's go for doors. That's what these are. Let's put a door here. Let's put a door also there. And take a look at put an end cap over here. Let's make some rooms. Doors. There we go. All right, so I'm going to turn off the add, keep solid. I'm going to make it this. So this is the shape I want. Get rid of that door. Perfect. And I think I'm going to get rid of this door. We'll go back to add. And I'll just open a double door. It's going to go here. Yeah. All right. Let's keep talking. All right, just kind of adding a few rooms to explore. Kind of causing a little confusion. And let's see here. Let's go put this guy here. There we go. I think I'm going to do the same with that. Yeah. And let's put a divider. There we go. Alright, now we can put some doors in the interior of this room. Check that guy out. You're going to check that one out. Let's put the door here. All right. And let's kind of finish off this a little bit. Okay. All right. Notice that my music's either stopped or I can't hear it. I don't know why it does this. So I'm gonna go to my audio mixer and tell it to say, hey, I want to hear it. There we go. Perfect. Turned out just a little bit. Okay. Let's go to the game here. So, realized, of course, I had no imagery of what I'm doing over here. So let's just go ahead and explode it. All right. Oh, why would you do this? There we go. All right. Well, I did say it would be scuff. So with this maze, basically, I'm drawing. I'm basically giving it structure, of course, and just kind of painting it with give it a look. Don't give it. Try not to make it too super complex for the first layer, at least. I'll go ahead and do that now. I'll continue on editing. Let's see here. Let's put some rooms. A little bit larger rooms. Oops. Need to be additive, meaning I don't want to take out. The old mute button's good. Got a wall. Extra sneezy today. Let that turn around a little bit there. There we go. This one's a little symmetrical here. That's okay. All right. Need an escape hatch. I'm not gonna remember to get here. Okay. Let's save this map. All right. Encounter. Right, here we go. Oops, slimes. Right, let's have everyone attack. All right. No reference exception. Oh no. Let's see, how did I mess this up? Stop the music here for a little bit. Yeah, it's me in the maze. Let's go back to Dev here. What's going on? Alright, let's see what's happening. Restart the game here. Well, that works so far. Like the slime has fiery tendril of a attack, has left my cleric with some burns, currently burning. Oh, ooh, more of them. Alright, so why is this null? Let's attempt to back this up. Alright, looks like I got some fiery sparks against me. Kobold casters can do that. And I can cast a spell that does damage over time. Entire party. Conditions dropped off, no longer burning. Still has some good hit points. Moving around here. Alright, let's see. Average level is 13. Right. Found it. Do encounter means it's going to find humanoids. Look up. This ID, humanoids. I'm going to see if we could find some humanoids, and it did. Do encounter says, okay, look at the encounter. Just delve into it. That means, right. Right. Day 1, we get orcs. Alright. Find the orcs. Found the orcs. Orcs going to threshold 0, threshold 2. Threshold 4 and threshold 6. So that's gonna give me one of the 6. How many? 1. Alright, play. I'll have to refresh the screen because it took too long. Alright, let's see here. Let's do a spell. Lava Burst. Heal Party. Let's continue battle, see what happens. Right. Everyone attack. Party heal. Let's have the thief do a shadow attack. Let's have these guys do some magic. Lava Burst and Firebolt 2. And let's move on. There we go. Wow. There we go. Still have 6 of them. Let's do another healing round. And then let's do some single target blasting. Enhanced Firebolt because they already are on fire from the previous spell. And because Firebolt does a burn effect, and one of them had some burning, that burn was fortified. This added the burn effect, so they're burning and blazing. No. We're just going to have everyone attack. Alright, here we go. Alright, looks like we're almost done here. Alright, looks like we're almost done. Perfect. Switching out the microphone to see what the try to get a little more activity of my still not working quite right. Nothing seems to be working. Alright, how about this one? Getting a little bit better? Or getting a little bit better. Maybe I stick my face clear into the mic. Need to adjust the sensitivity on this a little bit. I have the ceiling fan on, which causes air currents. Of course, that might cause it to go up and down on me. But we'll see how that goes. Also, trying to determine if it's working, and looking at a delayed screen does not help in validating if something is working. That's right. Well, let's go into maze mode here. Yeah, so I'm just been moving around, testing the game out a little bit here. Okay. Let's see. That should work a little bit better, yeah. So, yeah, the default hub dispatcher, that's off the signal R. If I'm in debugging for too long, about 30 to anywhere between 30 and a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, it times out. But then it continues on. Push on magic keys here, and escape. Stops the server. So what is a server? So basically, Dungeons of Treptera is a web server. It's a website. It's a web app. So this will run on a server. Either it could run on your computer, if you purchase the game, it runs on your computer locally, and then use your browser to play it, or you set it up on your own server or a rented server. Primarily, though, the game should be used on your local side. I'll put some instructions, but not a guarantee that you will get it to run on a remote system, because it requires a little bit of expertise to do that. But this game will allow you to do that if you so wish, and that's the idea, allowing you to do that. Also, the game primarily can be ran by data files, and these data files will define the maze, the monsters, the equipment, and the spells. So you can change the effects out completely. Even go in and change the artwork to change the whole motif if you so wish. Alright, so I've been tracking down an error that was spawning something that did not have anything there to spawn, so I need to go check out what's going on. These are all helper functions when you build your data classes. doing some maintenance, just kind of taking a look at a few items. Yeah, I'm going, just in case someone's popped in, I wanted to let you know, thank you for watching my stream. I'm Chief Multi-Hat. I'm a software developer during the day, and I'm a hobbyist programmer when I'm not working. I enjoy programming. I'm glad that I have a job in programming, and I always wanted to make a game, so I'm finally trying to make that game. Basically started this back in 2023 around September, and been working on this game ever since. That includes the code to create the website, the code that will create the game itself to interact with the website, and then coming up with the type of game we want to make. Also, the artwork has to be done, so I'm doing all the artwork. And then I found Kevin MacLeod. I can see that information on my About page on Twitch. It has nice information. Oh, no, sorry, not nice information. It has a great amount of music, generally with the Creative Commons license, royalty free. Just make sure to put him into the credits. So I put him on credits on the Twitch, or not Twitch, yeah, Twitch side, and also in the game itself. I've put the credits there as well. Alright, so basically there's 3 layers to spawn. You have the overarching container called the scenario configuration, or the scenario spawner. The scenario spawner is going to contain multiple encounter spawners, and then encounter spawners are turn around and have multiple single party spawners. The party is the smallest unit that is spawned. It's basically a collection of like individuals of the monsters. It defines the information as to what its image looks like, and then it actually has the NPCs or the enemies themselves generated in there. So the system is set up as instructions to build. And a lot of these generations are randomized. So there's a lot of either basically instructions as to what ranges should the generator use when it creates these things. So we have, generally you're going to have one scenario spawner per level of the maze. So there's it's levels 1 through 10. So yeah, I have 1 through 10 generated. Essentially, it just sets up programmatically the name of it. I'm using the name of function, so that if I have a variable or function name, by saying name of, it converts that into a string exactly as typed. Since this is a strongly typed language, it tries to keep syntax and here's our just multiple ways of typing a string, but the computer wants exactness, so we're trying to make sure it has exactness. So each of these are containers of encounters, and then the encounters are in containers of mobile party definitions. Okay, so we got the containers going. Okay, so then we have party definition: kobolds, casters, orcs, blue slimes. Okay, slimes if you want. So the thing is I got to make sure that I'm not including should be doing this instead. They're not valid, so don't use them. This doesn't have one, so don't use it. Slimes. Two slimes, red slimes. Kobold casters. Kobold casters, kobolds, kobold casters, orcs, ruffians, wild men. White, yellow, blue, red slimes, white, yellow, blue, red slimes. Okay. Make sure I don't have a data file that's pulling in and overriding everything I'm doing here. So, taking a look at that. Oops, too far, yes. Taking a look at a few things here off screen. Alright, maze. Alright. Now to hit play, let's go into the side game here. Times V1. 0, 1. And slimes V1. Slimes V1. Well. Let's see, would that be an issue? Nope. Ask myself the question, basically, I see 2 Eon Slimes V1, and does it matter if there's 2 of them in there? No, what happens is if I pick, if I run into a room with an index of 3, it specifically goes and looks for Eon Slimes. Make sure I don't duplicate it down here. Kobolds, kobold casters, orcs, ruffians, wildmen. Slimes. Yellow slimes. Blue slimes. Red slimes. Okay. Humanoids. Slimes. I don't see any duplications. So how does this work? Basically, with the scenario spawner, I use a raffle chance system. So like a scenario, the scenario spawner is going to have a list of scenario chances, and the scenario chance is how many raffle tickets and what is the ID. And what's the ID? And so in this case, there is basically a 1/3, 1 in 3 chance for any one of these things to be selected. Immediate problem here. I can't have something that doesn't exist, which nothing exists. There we go, found it. Alright, so it's either humanoids or slimes. Wonderful. Alright, humanoids contain, here are the humanoids. Kobolds, the kobold casters, orcs, ruffians, and wildmen. And let's go to, let's go to orcs. So what you do is to create an orc definition, we run the generator, the SP orc generator. So I'll go here. Here's the SP orc generator. You pass in a version. It's going to set up the party name, the weapon pool. So the same raffle system works here as well. You have the name of the weapon. Now this is the ID of the weapon, and the raffle ticket to pick it. So these twos have a 50% chance of picking either a short sword or a dagger, and there's a 50-50 chance of getting spear or club. So this group, the spear and club group versus the short sword and dagger group, and then it differentiates that way. Basically 1 in 4 chance. Well, no, not quite, because they have 2 tickets and 2 tickets is 4 tickets. So you have 6 total. 1 in 6, 1 in 6, 2 in 6, or 1 in 3, and 1 in 3. Same thing with the armor. This is to give variability within your character, because the equipment, not only is their level important, but the equipment you give them and have can also affect their lethalness and how easy they can be manipulated. Some things I need to add to this right now, and I don't, is an override, a general way to calculate, okay, how much XP is this particular generation going to be worth to do so. Right now, I believe I have a standard generation based off of how many characters were found that you fought, times a multiplier times a level modifier, so our level factor. So the deeper in the levels you go, the more experience you get, and the more of them, the more experience you get. But I do want to have the ability to increase some experience, because some of these mobiles are a lot more deadly and should be rewarded more experience for surviving. So let's go to the orcs. Now also, this is at the party level. So anything that's generated and added to the party gets a pick of a weapon, unless there's custom weapons assigned. Now with the custom weapon, I only have one, a great axe, and basically says you get a great axe. And so now when you set up the generations, we're going to create a mob spawner, a mobile party spawner. We'll give it an ID, if I pass in a version 1, then that means it's going to have the name SP Orcs V1. And then the mobile spawner, what's going to spawn? Well, the mobile so there are 4 spawning possibilities here. You have a threshold and you have a chance. A threshold is basically the average level of the party. If it's 0 or higher, then this will be picked to spawn, or at least it has 100 tickets. And since all the rest of the levels are higher than your level, so your party is level 1 on average, then the only thing is available to you is just this one pick. It'll be an automatic pick. But and then the way I broke this out, apparently I'm going to only have one spawning, one set of spawn per level breakout, with the highest level being 6. If you go above 6, you're starting to outclass the orcs, as it were. So with this, for level 2 party, we're going to start, first of all, it's going to add between 2 and 3 levels 1 and 2 orc fighters. So it's going to create between 2 and 3 orc fighters that have the levels between 1 and 2. And then additionally, it's going to create another orc fighter, one of them, between levels 2 and 3. So maybe so basically it's saying you got one guy in here that's kind of maybe the team lead or the captain. And that guy gets a custom weapon, which in this case is a great axe. The rest of them have a choice between spear, club, short sword, and dagger. But the captain here, he's gonna get a nice good old great axe. And further on down, so it just gets more of them. So level 4, between 3 and 4, this might be a little excessive right now, right? Actually, a little maybe out of bounds. 3 or 4 regular orc fighters, and then 1 to 2 special fighters, a little extra. And their levels a little more, 2 to 3. That's your threshold 4. And then with the last one here is we have a 6. So right now, particularly for the orcs, I pass in a version. Obviously, if I pass in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it just creates another mob, V1, V2, V3, V whatever. But the contents of it's always going to be the same. There's a couple ways I could deal with this. I can make all this linear response, meaning you take the version. This is this version to version plus 1. Version plus 2 to version plus 3, you know, we could do it that way. You could take a version times a factor, say min factor, max factor. You can set up a table. You could expand that out and then build in your generics like this. Or I could do something like, okay, so I take this version. Let's do this. Let's say return. If I could type. Return version switch. By default, we want this to happen. Like so. So if I don't understand the version that you sent me, I will then assume it's version 1. Otherwise, if it's version 2, let's just take a copy of all this. Version 2 you should always start off with a threshold 0, in case you've inadvertently told someone on level 1 to spawn version 2 orcs. Version 2 orc should be, say, level 2 or 3. In that case, if you wanted to correspond the version with the level of the maze, then level 2 means version 2. So on the second level, I want this to happen with the orcs. I want between so on level 2, let's have 2 to 3 orcs level. Oh, I don't know. Let's start with kind of level 4. So right off the bat, we're thinking, okay, if you're on level 2, I'm going to spawn this version of the orcs. Now, obviously, if I somehow got down to the 2nd level, at a level 1 character, the version 2 orc is going to be bad for me. It's not going to be good at all. Yeah, so so you got to kind of take into consideration these things. So one thing I could do is you set up a spreadsheet and start plugging in. First of all, I got to figure out how I could put the inputs into them so that I can get out of them relevant information. But basically, it's going to test. It's going to test that out. One way to do it is to create an emulator, which basically takes a copy of a, say, typical party, generates your a party of generates the party, and then just automates the battle. And fighters will fight, casters will cast their spells, and you just go and create the logs and outputs. How many times, how many rounds to survive, what percentages was the health between from start to finish, how much was lost, how many resources were lost, and then how many deaths were there. So just to simulate it. If I can get the thing to simulate it on average, then I can kind of give a ballpark idea. Just make the computer program simulate it. I probably will put a simulator into this at some point in time. I really would like to know why my monitor turns off all the time. That's a bug in OBS, so I'll have to kind of take a look at that. So anyway, quite interesting. All right. Oh, I forgot to turn something off. This is not good. Let's go to somewhere here. And appreciate you being here. I think I'm stuck in emote only, which is bad. I apologize. I'm Chief Multi-Hat, and what you're watching on my stream is I'm developing a dungeon crawl RPG game that's going to run basically in a web service or a web app. Now, it doesn't run on your local machine. It runs on the web server using your browser as the interface. And I'm working out some bugs and such. Let me see if I can get the appropriate. I apologize for scuff because there we go, unleashed. Oh my goodness. Certainly do apologize for that. All right. Well, we'll continue going on here. Let the scuff begin. Or it's never ending. Right, so let's figure out some level 2 things. Oh yeah, custom weapons. Oops. Let's say V1. Let's not do that. Because basically, because you are generating and creating a version 2, version default. You can also, up in here, put in a whole different list of weapons as for a baseline based on the version of your mob generator. Yeah. So we don't have a captain here. Right, so I'm expecting, if that's a 6. That's true. If I want, let's say, let's start with this 6. That's a 6. Let's grab the 6 down here. And then go up to here and replace this. Excuse me. Put an extra one. Nope. Okay. What's happened here? What's happening? Problems. Alright, let's find out. That guy. That guy. That guy. Everyone's happy. Right. 6. 8. 10. 2, 4, 6. 6. You know what? This is 6. That's 6. You need to do this. Alright. No, that's a 0. Probably should put a comment. Starting with level 6 as the default. This is probably out of whack, but let's just keep going. So that means 8, 10, 12. You know, I only have 20 levels of character. So if I have something like that, the issue would be why would it be sticking around level 2 for so long? I may have over granulated. Let's see, if you're level 13, you should be somewhere halfway down. I might have to increase experience points, so that you're not just kind of thinking of the game mechanics a little bit. Really not trying to balance this, but the general idea for version 2 of the orcs here. So programmatically, you could pass in a version, and then that's going to choose basically a function of the orcs of what it should be like. The problem with this system is I can't indicate the ranges or the capability of these definitions unless I go and look into each one of them. It'd be nice to have either the version itself built into the function, what I really should do is this. Let's start over. I think it kind of like, not this. Return. And go like this, put a semicolon there. That gets us back. Okay, so really, I should be doing something like this. Extension function. Okay. Let's go back. Not string. String. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay. Excuse me. All right. So this tells me right off the bat. Okay, this is a fork. This is SPWorks V1, and then this is V2, and in this case, V2. This definitely sets this up so that I can make the adjustments better. And technically with the Orcs V2, those aren't orcs. This orc and this orc. The Underdark orc. Fire orc. Yeah. I'll need a different kind of orc. Let's view this by name. There we go. Regular orc. Fire orc. Undead orc. And under orc. Orcs fire. So I could make a different version of this character. Change some aspects, maybe give him, draw in a few different things. I could do something like that. Yeah, that's a possibility. But that's where you would change this here. Orcs fire. Slobbering orcs. Version 2 wouldn't be slobbering so much. They're going to be more like menacing. Menacing orcs, yeah. Alright, we got some menacing orcs. Same weapons. Except we're going to start with level 6. Make that my 0 threshold. Yeah. Right. 8. 10. 12. Yeah. So essentially, if I'm doing 1 or 2 levels per 1 or 2 party levels per maze level, then what I can end up doing is with this, I can support someone staying around to about level 12. Level 12 orcs here would be a pretty good, be pretty good against a party of the average of 13. They could also put these things down for 4 more levels. So these would last. This orc could be found between levels 4 and 8, roughly. If it's roughly 2 levels, 2 average levels per. If you're taking like every 2 levels is the next, every 2 character levels is a level in the maze. Yeah. All right, so 3 to 5. It's not so much. So I could have up to 7 of them. Yeah. I think we're going to kind of keep 3, 5, 2. Well, let's start off with basically making everything the same. Except what we're going to change is the change the levels, of course. 4 to 5, 8, 4 to 5, AF level 8. You're saying it's 7 to 6, 6 to 7. There we go, level 2. Level 2. Level 2 orcs, menacing orcs. Yeah. Oh, bring out the clowns. Clowns V1. Oops. Right. All right. So here we have clowns and creepy clowns. I put in some modified weapons, how you can modify the weapons in the game on the fly. Well, first of all, you pick an existing weapon to model it because there's base attributes, bludgeoning, things like that. So you pick that. So you use the base attributes. But I'm going to change the weapon name to Lead Balloon. And I'm going to give it different damage, 3 to 5 damage. And then a bedsheet. Bedsheet? It's robes. But it actually has quite the protection for it. For those. Yeah. Then with in this particular case, clown stats, I need to put in here also dot. Yes. So configure, this is a function, takes in the definition and returns the definition, then it modifies it. So then I can use this configure to, I'm using the inline dot notated fluent style processing. That way I can get rid of these extra. And also, since I'm creating a mob fighter, I'll leave that alone. Alright. Just do a little bit of housekeeping. OCD kicking in there. Alright. Perfect. Perfect. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right. Version 1 clowns. No more versions. V1. Alright, here we got some variability here, and I don't like it, so let's go make this a V1. Right, that makes us a V1. That goes away. I have a plug-in for my Visual Studio that fills in the names of the parameters. Sometimes it acts a little wild. Okay. Good times. Alrighty. Inverse was 1, so that's going to be a 1 to 2, 1 to 1. So basically 75% of the chance to do this, 25% of the chance to do something else. No, add fighters. This is the captain of kobolds here. So we're going to get between 1 and 2 regular kobolds, and then and a single kobold with a choice of more aggressive weapons. Other ones, everyone gets a pike. Okay. 25% chance we're going to get between 2 and 3 regular kobold warriors between levels of 1 and 2. And then for the between 1 and 2 of a captain that's between levels 1 and 2. You know what, we'll just make him a 2. 2 to 3. Yeah, we want him above. Just a little bit above. So 1 to 2. You want to keep him. One to 2 as well. V1 kobolds aren't really meant to expand out very far. Okay. V1. And V1. Okay. Alright, oh, I did everything, didn't you? Alright. Let's go back. Save at work. Let's stop the game. Rebuild everything. Let's work on the slimes next. I'll probably talk about this from time to time, but just wanted to bring up the fact that I will make some grunting noises, and at some point when I start actually have a camera where I'll have myself in that, you'll also see me make certain movements because I have Tourette's. Generally, I don't really think about it too much, other than that. I mean, I do have it, and you'll know it if you're ever around me socially and such. It's just something I have. I've always had it, obviously, and at my age, I've been having it for quite a long time. But I have my ups and downs, and as I program, I generally I'll let my the best way to describe it, the thing that you do to suppress your Tourette's, you learn how to do it. It kind of ends up becoming kind of automatic. Funny thing is something about that. I could relate that. I don't know if you watch Firebrand, the animation where the mage is holding back the detection of Nirvana. That's a lot like what I do with Tourette's. Learned to hold it back. Now, of course, I'm nowhere near as perfect like that. They do escape through, and as I do something I highly enjoy, like programming, especially on something I like to work on, my brain wants to use the extra power to go over and be able to code. So the inhibitors slack off on Tourette's. And so now that I'm talking about it, of course they're like, shields up, but generally, that's not true. I'm just not making grunts. I am gyrating everywhere, which you can't see, which is great. It would be kind of funny to put a VTuber model tracking on myself, because I would be probably a form of entertainment unto itself, and ultimately I'm able to laugh at myself too. So. And no, I don't have the kind of Tourette's that cuss. No, that's not me. Technically, that type of Tourette is rare within even having Tourette's. There are some that have it, even some streamers that have Tourette's, and they talk about it, and are, I would say, pretty good examples of not so much example of people being informative and helpful with the disease and talking about it and promoting things you could do for it. Let's move on to some software development. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to go look over the slimes. Made a helper function here, basically. Core slime. Here's their base stats. So, well, when I say base stats technically are defined as a... So you have a low range and high range. What does this mean? When it generates the strength, physical stats, mental stats, it's going to vary by 1. So if I put in a 9, it's going to be between 8 and 10 because of the low and high range. So I gave a little bit of variability of your of your stat build. Another way is to just not just always increase the level of the monster, but also you can vary their stats. So you can make, yes, it's a level 2 monster comparatively to your level 2, but it has, 25 strength, things of that nature. Blue slime speed V1. Oh, this is gonna be These are formulaic. Being formulaic, it I'm gonna keep these guys formulaic. Because these slimes make sense. Well, it's because if I were to make them level 10 slimes, that'd be going from 20 levels. Let's see, generally level 9 slime is a level 9, level 20 slime is a level 20. I believe I'll leave those alone. Slimes will stay slimes. Alright, so humanoids have been converted. Undead humanoids. Alright, let's go fix the undead humanoids. Let's get up in here. And oozes. Critters. Rats. Why does it has to be rats? We got rats. All rats. Giant rats. Fangs. That's a bunny. Just me, myself, and I talking to myself. Woohoo. Just kidding. For future me and future other viewers watching this VOD, I hope you enjoy the VOD. I hope it's as boring and drying as possible. That's just kidding. Just kind of... Oozes, are they the same kind of... That's right. See, look, this is... Yeah, this is not going to work. So, ooze, undead versions are also... Yeah. No. B1. B1. vehicle. Yep. Alrighty. Okay. 75 and 25. Version 1. Pardon me. Okay. Zombie. Brains. Zombies. Zombies should cause paralysis. Yes. Zombies should cause paralysis. And so, how do you make zombies cause paralysis? Well, in the zombie spawn, zombie, go to definition. In here, it's a fighter undead. I should create a fighter undead paralyzed that defines an after attack ability, which will then give you paralysis. So, zombies. All right. Version 1 zombies. And then a version 2 zombie. You know, technically I should do something like V0-6. That's not even the proper way to do that, though. V0. That even makes sense. Did that, I would say it goes between levels 1 and 6. Threshold. version 1 T6 when zombies go to. That's not too bad. I mean, it's just ultimately a code, but tell me at least it goes to level 6. One thing you can do with C# is to put on attributes, do a reflection of .NET Framework. And you could define these custom attributes. I was going through a system where I was putting attributes so that you would go go use reflection, determine all of the mobs in the game, and construct the database essentially in memory structures for spawning all of the enemies. And it doesn't seem intuitive enough to go through and make changes. I wanted it to be a little more programmatic, because at least for the programmatic side you can tell what you're doing. And so I'm in converting it back. I was using the metadata system, but not to throw the baby out with the bathwater, it would also be a good thing to instead use metadata that would describe information, more things about the implementation, so that when you go back and ask about that, you could do that. Now, one wonderful way of doing that, which I guess I totally forgot, is to do something like this. Summary. SP zombies. Excuse me. So now, zombies, create undead. Yeah, I should have been doing that the entire time. This is incredibly herder moment here. Summary. Create undead animated bones. Ew. Just realized I do have a thing called full description. Honestly, the summaries, nothing's stopping this. That's kind of disgusting, but hey, it's kind of funny. All right, statics. All right, here. No. Stopped again, but not really. Stopped for me, I think. I'll find out more later, I'm sure. Or not. I'm going to switch up music a little bit. Alrighty. Lots of silence. This VOD will be incredibly hard to watch. I apologize. Well, I think this will be it for today. I certainly appreciate watching as I continue to develop and work on this game. Hopefully I'll be able to talk about it a little bit more as I make it. And just hope that you enjoy your day today. Alright, well, I'll catch you on the flip side. You all have a great time. Thank you so much.